Hello Aries, and welcome to your Lunar Cycle Insight video for the cycle beginning in early December with the new moon in Sagittarius and culminating as we head into 2019 with the new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn on the 6th of January. So this is a much quieter month than November, when we had all of those amazing shifts with the nodes and with Jupiter heading into Sagittarius. This is a month where we will feel cycles ending as new cycles begin, as Mercury and Venus move out of their shadows and we begin to really step into the fire of Jupiter in Sagittarius. And of course we will be experiencing the solstice as the Solstar moves into Capricorn on the 21st of December as well. So although it's a quieter month than the ones that we've previously experienced, there's still a lot of interesting changes that will be happening for us all. So for you Aries, we begin the month with Mercury and Venus re-entering your 8th house, your Scorpio house of the birth chart. So on the 1st of December, Mercury retrograded back into the final degrees of the Scorpion, and on the 2nd of December, Venus moved into the 1st degrees once more. You know, this is the ground that she's been covering over and over again since October. And Mercury, you know, was also last on these degrees at the end of October, around Samhain time as well. So really we're kind of retracing our steps, going back within, you know, we're going deep into this 8th house again to see what else needs to be cleared and transmuted. What messages did we miss the first time around? You know, what is still hiding in the corners of our psyche? And this is particularly interesting because Mercury will be creating a grand water trine as he moves backwards and forwards over these degrees before he turns, as he prepares to turn direct on the 6th of December. He will be aligning, making a trine to Chiron in Pisces in your 12th house and the North Node in Cancer in your 4th house. So all of these watery houses are very much ignited over the coming weeks, Aries, and it aids you in, you know, really letting go of a lot of old psychological baggage. There's an opportunity for some real deep soul cleansing going on, you know, really going into your subconscious, getting down to the roots of your fears, the roots of your addictions, the roots of your pain. Because your ruler Mars is going to be remaining in Pisces throughout this month as well. He's not going to shift into Aries, into your sign, until the 1st of January. So that's going to be an exciting start to the new year for us. But up until then, you know, we are really in those watery depths. We're really dissolving old patterns. We're working with the energy of dreams and meditation and prophecy. We might be feeling a lot of old stuff rising up that we need to clear and work through during this period. Like I say, we can get really down to the roots of any self-sabotaging patterns, particularly addictions. We'll be working with this energy of overindulgence and why we might behave in excessive ways, as well as the Sagittarius, Neptune, Pisces squares unfold over the month as well. So it's really a time for you where you are in this space of transformation. You know, we're kind of halfway between moving forward with the energies in Sagittarius in our 9th house, calling us to initiate the new, to start to manifest our visions for the future, yet there's still a little bit of internal work to do. So there's this kind of push-pull this month, Aries, and you might feel a little bit restricted because we know you're a sign that likes to charge ahead, that, you know, you are designed to initiate the new. You're the first sign of the zodiac. So it's really striking that balance, which will be a core theme this month, with the full moon also highlighting your nodal axis. So it's a very powerful period, and like I say, Venus is also retracing her steps through the 8th house, and which is a journey that began for you around the 5th of October, when she stationed retrograde here at 10 degrees. And of course she went back last month, she was back in Libra, and we had the rising of Venus, you know. Venus rebirthed herself in her 7th house, in your 7th house, of partnership, of harmony, of cooperation. So she initiated that new 18-month cycle for you, Aries, of learning about the self through the other, of new relationships coming into your life. And now still in her, you know, bright, shining, rising phase. It's kind of like the new moon phase of Venus. She comes back into this 8th house, and this can have you, you know, really feeling that urge to soul merge with other people. So you might be over the festive period, you know, as you go out and about, feeling the need for deep connections with other people. Those of you who are seeking a partner may find that somebody is magnetically drawn to you at this time, or you're drawn to them. Or, you know, there's new beginnings happening in your already established relationships. You might be getting the sense of, you know, needing to really connect on a deep emotional level with people this month as well. So we're really still working with the Venus energies of understanding our deepest needs and desires, looking at how we share our energy and our resources, because Venus is going to oppose Uranus just as she moves back into Scorpio. We know that Uranus moved back into Aries last month, so as Venus comes across the threshold, she opposes him once more. So we can see more lessons, you know, more breakthroughs around our patterns of relating, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to our finances. And as planets move through their retrograde shadow, which Venus will be doing until the 17th of December, we are often, you know, receiving a lot of downloads, a lot of information around what the whole retrograde journey has meant for us. So we're kind of reclaiming those parts of ourselves that we have been shedding during this period, but calling them back in a healthier way, in a more authentic way. So Mercury is going to be doing this same dance. You know, he's on the final degrees of Scorpio, and then he's going to station direct just as the new moon rises. I think there's about 10 hours difference between Mercury station and the moon rebirthing herself. And then he will move back into Sagittarius on the 12th of December. And then he will leave his shadow on Christmas Day. So there's this whole kind of rewiring and recalibrating process that's going on for us all collectively. And yours is very much focused around this deep psychological healing, around this need for intimacy, around desire, around this need for soul connection and intimacy that is so prevalent in the 8th house. And we've got the Sagittarian energies highlighted too. So we've got this new moon in the sign of the celestial archer in the temple of Sagittarius on the 7th of December, like I say, just after Mercury makes his station. And this is a very interesting moon because it's the first new moon that we've had in Sagittarius, with Jupiter, the ruler of the sign, also in Sagittarius for 12 years. So this is falling in your 9th house, Aries, this house of expansion, the house that's naturally ruled over by Sagittarius and Jupiter. So we have this opportunity to really, with Mercury direct as well, to really refine our vision, to really look inside and see what really has deep, true meaning for us. You know, where are we going to invest our time and energy? The 8th house, where are we going to invest our time and energy over the coming 12-month cycle? What, you know, really makes our soul sing and ignites the fires of expansion in our hearts, in our lives. So this is a time when you might be experiencing opportunities to step up, to expand into who you know, really wish to be. And it's important that we take action to bring these dreams into manifestation. We have to ensure that we're doing our Saturn in Capricorn in the 10th house as well at this time, and make sure we're actually anchoring and grounding what we're being offered, because this moon will be in square to Mars and Neptune in that 12th house, which I discussed earlier in the video. So we have to really look at, you know, what is a fantasy and what can be grounded into reality, you know, what is just smoke and mirrors, and what is actually available to us to manifest. And we might want to be looking at any old programming that tells us that we don't deserve or we're not worthy of achieving our goals and visions as well. We might be wanting to look at any old habits that are creating barriers and blockages to what we wish to manifest. And, you know, this month, Aries, your focus is very much on love and very much on life purpose. So have a little look at what is going on within your soul, and, you know, are there any old memories, are there any old kind of karmic cords between you and others that need to be cut before progress can really be made? What can we let go of in order to make room for the new, these things that we really want as we shift into a new year and a new cycle? So set your intentions at this new moon to really focus and really capture the essence of where you're headed now, as you have this 13-month blessing of Jupiter in the 9th house. So what is my highest vision, and how can I take steps to manifest it? So on the 21st, we have the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the summer solstice, or Letha, for those of you who are watching in the southern. But wherever we are, this is a moment of stillness. This is a moment of reflection as the sun, as the Solstar stands still in the heavens, ready to rebirth himself. He crosses 27 degrees of Sagittarius, the galactic center, the cosmic womb, the womb of the star goddess, and then he heads into Capricorn, which is your 10th house. So now we're really given this opportunity to think about the visions and ideas that have come to us. Think about how they can become tangible. You know, what practical steps can we take? How can we take back our power to really ground the life of our dreams as we head into the new year? So this is an interesting one, because as soon as the sun enters Capricorn, he will be just a few hours later on the 22nd of December coming into opposition with Lady Luna. So we have our annual full moon in the sign of Cancer, the sign of the crab, which will take place in your 4th house. So this full moon really activates that 10th, 4th house polarity that you are working with over the next 18 months as the nodes transit here, Aries. So this really asks you to look at your balance between home and work, because we know we've had Saturn transiting in the 10th house since last winter solstice, 21st of December 2017. We've got Pluto there. We've got the North Node there now since last month as well. So we've got a lot of energy up in this 10th house of career, of purpose, of reputation, of, you know, being seen in the world. And now we've got the North Node in the 4th house, which wants again, you know, same as Venus and Scorpio, intimate connection, emotional connection, time, space to heal, to nurture, to rest. So this can really illuminate this polarity for us, you know, this axis of rest and accomplishment, home and work, family and career, and ensure that we are not favouring one above the other, and if so, how can we create more harmony? And it's an interesting one, particularly as we're heading into what is the busiest time of the year for many of us, the festive season. So we might find ourselves, you know, feeling a little bit too sensitive, you know, wanting to kind of hide away a bit rather than getting involved in all of the celebrations during this period. This can also throw up issues in our family. The fourth house, the Cancerian space of the birth chart, is the space where we deal with our genetic lineage, our ancestral lineage. So this can be a deep time again of clearing old patterns, nostalgia, releasing the pain of the past in order to step forward as we head into January. And I find it so significant that Mars, your ruling planet, is crossing that threshold on the 1st of January. He comes into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of his rulership. And, you know, I really feel like this will be a huge boost, a huge rush of energy for all of us, but particularly for you, Aries. And we've had a long journey with Mars. He's been moving through the much more kind of ethereal cosmic signs since May this year. You know, he did his retrograde in Aquarius. He's been in Pisces for 2 months, which is, you know, not always the most comfortable space for him, and not always the most comfortable space for your ruler when you're in Aries, because Pisces dissolves, it releases, it lets go, it flows, and Aries drives forward and initiates the new. So this will be a huge turning point for you. And as Mars comes through, he will be obviously making a conjunction with your Aries planets at some point during his journey through the sign of the Ram. But he will also be creating trines to that 9th house with Jupiter in Sagittarius and with Venus as she moves there on the 7th of Sagittarius, I was going to say. I meant the 7th of January. She moves into Sagittarius. So we have this kind of real fire awakening as we move into the new year and head towards that lunar eclipse in Capricorn, again in your 10th house. So we're looking at that polarity again, which we will be working with all of next year. And we'll talk a little bit about that more in the next video and what that means for you. But for now, Aries, think of this as a month to clarify, to refine, and to think about what steps you can take to actualize your dreams as the wheel of the year turns. You know, if you feel held back, if you feel like moving a bit slower than usual, then just honor that. Give yourself the rest, the time that you need to do the clearing, because we often think, oh, you know, I'm just resting, I'm just meditating, I'm doing nothing. But really that inner work that we're doing is opening doorways to us. We might not see the results instantaneously, but we will begin to see them as the cycles change and shift, and we'll think, oh yeah, I did a lot of releasing around my fear of intimacy, or I did a lot of releasing around, you know, not fully embracing my self-worth, or I completely purified myself, I changed my diet, I let go of that addictive pattern. And then, you know, we come to receiving the blessing from that. We meet our new partner, or we're offered a new opportunity because our inner world has changed, our outer world begins to reflect that. So, a very exciting and interesting month for us all, and I'm going to pick a tarot card for us, well, for all of the videos this month, because we are in Scorpio, you know, we are in Sagittarius, the signs of oracling, signs of prophecy, signs of visions for the future. So I'm going to use these Glastonbury Tarot cards. You can see the tour on the back there. And these are by Lisa Tenzin-Dolma, and I believe they are mostly out of print now, but they are my favourite deck. They've got all of the different characters from Arthurian legend on them. They've got depictions of the Glastonbury landscape. There we go, there's the Empress, Guinevere. We've got Arthur here, we've got the Tower, the Torso. Beautiful deck for those of you who feel connected to the mysteries of Avalon. So let's pick one for you for this lunar cycle, Aries. Interesting. So we have the Lovers, Credilad and Gwynthor. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because it's Welsh language. And their story is very interesting if you feel drawn to look it up. But this is an interesting card because, like I say, Venus has rebirthed herself in our 7th house of partnership, and she's moving through Scorpio. And Libra, the 7th house, is often where we initiate a partnership or we initiate a romance. And then the 8th house, the Scorpio house, is where we take it to the deep level, where we really get to know each other intimately. So this can be a time when those of you who are seeking connection can find it. You know, you've done some very, very deep work with Venus, Aries. You know, really since she entered her retrograde shadow on the 2nd of September. So it's been a long journey, and now the rewards will start to come. And for those of you who are in partnership, then you can find your relationship going to the next level of commitment, becoming deeper, becoming more profound. You know, perhaps you'll be sharing secrets, or, you know, letting yourself really be seen and known and vulnerable, which is hard for an Aries type person. Also, sometimes with the traditional tarot deck, not so much in this one, we see a man choosing between 2 women, archetypically, and this can also indicate a choice between 2 partners or 2 pathways. And of course, when we're talking about the Lovers, we're talking about following your heart, trusting your intuition, which will be so strong at the moment with the 8th and 9th house activated, and the 12th house as well. So if there are decisions to be made, then trust what is in your heart. And sometimes with the Lovers as well, particularly in this card with the big full moon behind them, all is not always as it seems. So bear in mind that all that glitters isn't gold sometimes, and particularly where Neptune is involved and Sagittarius is involved, we can get excited, we can get carried away in the moment, carried away in our delusions, our daydreams and our fantasies. So if you are offered anything, whether it's a relationship or an opportunity, then be sure that it is grounded in reality. Be sure that it is what it says it is. And again, come back to that gut feeling, come back to what you know to be true to you, Sagittarius, authentic truth. What is the truth for me? What has deep meaning for me? Which is very much the theme of the Mercury retrograde. But if you can, you know, if these things are offered to you, particularly after the planets move out of their shadows and Mercury in particular moves direct, then there's a good possibility that they will be the right things for you. So just some things to bear in mind there, Aries. And I am sending you so much love. Thank you so much for listening to me, for subscribing. And if you want to connect with me further, of course, you can reach me through my Inspirations for Your Journey Back to Avalon Facebook page and group. And yeah, wishing you a very, very blessed lunar cycle and Yule or Letha season if you're in the southern hemisphere.